The last time we did a bonus episode on Victor Mete, we discussed the fact that he was trying to seize an opportunity to stick in the lineup after, he had asked for, reportedly, the trade request went out through his agent. It seemed as if he wanted more time on the ice. And it was a good conversation. And then when the episode dropped, within minutes, he had been scratched from the lineup. So he was not going to play moments after we put out a post saying that, he's been taking advantage of his opportunity. Since then, he's been put on waivers and is now a member of the Ottawa Senators. So, yeah, a lot of changes for Victor Mete over these last few days. Let's talk about him still. Do you think he's a useful NHL defenseman? And do you think he got a fair shake with the Montreal Canadiens?
I think he did get a fair shake, but I think it all started when his agent did make that comment about, we want to get him basically out of Montreal. And that's not the type of scenario you'd like to have in your dressing room. I mean, that's a bad feeling. That's a bad vibe. But looking at his overall performance, Mete, when given the opportunity, and he was given, he worked, he tried, and he did what he could do as that type of player that he brings to the organization. But I think the bottom line was he didn't really fit into the mix of what the Canadiens had on the blue line, and ultimately that's basically why he was let go for nothing.
Well, I think it's fair to say that we all share the blame for cursing him and having him be scratched and put on waivers, and now with Ottawa. But what we were talking about then with Victor Mete is that it was very obvious that he didn't have a long-term future with the Montreal Canadiens, that things were just not working well this year with them. And unfortunately, they had to move on. But it was a little bit more surprising that he moved on and the Montreal Canadiens didn't get anything for him. But that's what happens when you put a player on waiver, the risk that you take. I think he will be still a defenseman in the NHL and has that capability, but it was just not fitting with the team. And we see this all the time. A player not fitting with a certain team moves on to another team or a team even after that, and they're able to find their game again. And I would not be surprised if we see that from Victor Mete.
Yeah, the timing of the agent going public with the trade was ridiculous. I mean, the Canadiens were playing really well at the time. All six of their defensemen were playing really well. I guess the agent got the impact he wanted because the next game Mete was put in the lineup. Brett Kulak was taken out, and it impacted Brett Kulak's confidence. The Canadiens struggled after that. Now that's not the reason. Mete's agent's not the reason the Canadiens started slumping, but it definitely didn't help. As Rick said, going through the room, a young kid like that. Agent demanding a trade. I'm sure the guys remember going, really? Are you serious? But for Mete, he can skate the puck. He's not physically strong enough. Cole Caulfield has that wicked shot for a small guy. Victor Mete's shot couldn't break a pane of glass. And we saw the 2-1 goal. The Jets, I believe it was the Jets game when Mete physically couldn't handle the guy going to the net, couldn't lift his stick. The guy kept his stick on the ice and he scored. And I think that was probably the last straw for the Canadiens as far as with Victor Mete. He was benched the entire third period of that game, then put on waivers. Can he play in the NHL? I think he can. I think, you got to remember, Victor Mete was a 4th-round draft pick, 100th overall. There's a reason why.
He was.
The kid came up and all of a sudden he's playing on the Canadiens' #1 pairing with Shea Weber. That just shows how little depth or how poor the Canadiens' defense was at the time. So for a 4th-round pick, he's done remarkably well up to this point. I think Ottawa's the perfect landing spot for him. A young team. They're not going to be in the playoffs. He becomes a restricted free agent at the end of this season. The Senators are going to play him a ton, I'm sure, to see what they got. And this is Victor Mete's chance to prove to himself, maybe, and also to the rest of the NHL that he is indeed an NHL defenseman. He's playing for his future in the NHL. He needs a contract for next season. So I'm happy for him because despite what happened with the agent, he was a nice kid to be around, a good kid. I think he maybe got some bad advice. The agent doesn't go public with that, I'm sure, without getting the okay from Mete. I think he got some bad advice at the time, but he's a good kid. I'm happy to see him get a chance in Ottawa. I hope things work out well for him. But again, physically, he just doesn't seem to be strong enough, and he can rush the puck down the ice, but he has no shot. And those are two things he really, really has to work on if he wants to have a long NHL career.
And I honestly thought when they inserted him back in the lineup that it was a case of let's get him playing and then let's try and make a deal for him. And obviously That did not happen. I'm sure there were some conversations, but nothing serious enough that would allow him to Bergevin to make any kind of deal. But now that he's getting a fresh start in Ottawa, I hope the kid shows well. He said he's with a young group. He's going to be given an opportunity to play, and then see if he takes full advantage of it, and can hang in there for a few years. So happy for him. Fresh start, a new place where I think he will have the opportunity to play more than what he would have had, obviously, in Montreal.
What do you think? Is Victor Mete still an NHL defenseman? Did he get a fair shake in Montreal? Let us know in the comments section below, and visit hockeyinsideout.com to check out our full episode.